Need to lock down your FastMCP server with enterprise-grade JWT authentication, but don't want to build a full OAuth flow? You'll see how to configure production-ready token verification in just 5 lines of code. We'll use FastMCP's JWTVerifier to automatically fetch public keys from your identity provider, validate token signatures, and enforce issuer audience restrictions, all while keeping your server focused on its core functionality. From FastMCP, import FastMCP. From FastMCP, server, auth, providers, JWT import JWTVerifier. Hash configure JWT verification against your identity provider. Verifier equals JWTVerifier. JWKS URI equals https://auth your company com/well-known/JWKS JSON. Issuer equals https://auth your company com. Audience equals MCP production API. MCP equals FastMCP. Name equals protected API. Auth equals verifier. This demonstrates the delegated authentication pattern, where your service outsources identity verification to a trusted authority while maintaining control over authorization. The pattern separates token validation from business logic, letting your MCP server act as a pure resource server that trusts externally issued tokens. What makes this distinctive is the complete decoupling of authentication infrastructure from your application code. The approach works by establishing a trust boundary through cryptographic verification. Your server receives tokens containing claims about the caller, validates their authenticity using public keys or introspection endpoints, then extracts authorization information without needing to understand how tokens were issued. This creates a clean separation where your service focuses on what the token allows, not how it was obtained, enabling seamless integration with existing identity providers. This pattern matters because it solves the distributed authentication problem in microservices architectures. You avoid reinventing identity management while maintaining security boundaries, as tokens carry verifiable claims across service boundaries. The trade-off is that you depend on the token issuer's availability and security practices, but this is typically preferable to managing user credentials directly in each service. Let's break it down line by line. From FastMCP, import FastMCP. This imports FastMCP, the core class for building AI-callable tool APIs. It handles the bridge between your Python functions and AI models, managing serialization, validation, and execution. From FastMCP, server, auth, providers, JWT import JWTVerifier. This imports JWTVerifier, FastMCP's built-in JWT authentication provider. It handles token validation against your identity provider's public keys, ensuring only properly signed requests reach your API. Hash configure JWT verification against your identity provider. Verifier equals JWTVerifier. This instantiates a JWTVerifier for secure API authentication. It validates incoming tokens against your identity provider, ensuring only authorized requests access protected endpoints. This is the standard pattern for integrating OAuth 2 JWT with FastMCP services. JWKS URI equals https://auth your company com/well-known/JWKS JSON. This specifies the JSON web key set endpoint, where the verifier fetches public keys to validate JWT signatures. Without this, your API can't verify incoming tokens, creating a critical security gap. Standard practice is to use the well-known JWKS URI from your identity provider. Issuer equals https://auth.yourcompany.com. The issuer parameter enforces JWT validation against your identity provider's domain. It prevents token spoofing by rejecting any JWT not signed by your specified authentication authority, ensuring only legitimate tokens from your auth system can access the API. This is a critical security measure for production systems. Audience equals MCP Production API. This specifies the intended audience for the JWT token, enforcing that only tokens explicitly issued for MCP Production API will be accepted. It prevents token reuse attacks, where a token meant for one service gets used on another, and is a standard OAuth 2 security requirement. Always set this to match your exact API identifier. This closing parenthesis finalizes the JWTVerifier configuration. It locks in the JWT validation rules for your identity provider, ensuring all incoming requests are properly authenticated before reaching your API endpoints. MCP equals FastMCP. Name equals protected API. Auth equals verifier. Instantiates the FastMCP server with JWT authentication enforced. The auth equals verifier parameter locks down all endpoints to require valid tokens, while the name parameter identifies this instance in logs and metrics. This is the standard initialization pattern for protected FastMCP services. FastMCP authentication patterns. The JWTVerifier configuration shown demonstrates FastMCP's dual approach to security, supporting both environment-based and programmatic setup for flexible deployment across different stages. Environment variables override hard-coded verifier settings, which can lead to silent failures if both are present but conflicting. Always validate your token claims against the expected issuer and audience to prevent token substitution attacks.
The server that trusts no tokens trusts all tokens.